fourth time in 2 years, Central Michigan takes on Bowling Green as the Chippewas host the Falcons. Each team 2-4 in the conference, and we've got it for you right here on ESPN3. He's my partner, Matt DeVries. I'm Adam Jackson, and Matt, this is one of those games that can vault you up into the standings as we take a look at those right now.
Yeah, in the Mid-American Conference, of course, a really deep leagues. Teams, a lot of talented teams in the conference this season, but you take a look right there. Both teams 2-4. CMU avoided going to 1-5 over the weekend right here inside McGurk Arena. Important for both of these teams to come out hot. Don't want to go to 2-5 in conference.
Well, let's start with the visitors and how they're going to try and pull off the win tonight. DiMaggio Wiggins is their stud inside. Back-to-back double-doubles for him, one of them coming on Saturday against Ball State.
A really dynamic rebounder, really able to cause a lot of trouble inside. That's going to be one of my keys a little bit later in pregame. How can CMU defend him? He's a big guy, 6'10", averaging 14 points per game in MAC play. See how CMU defends him tonight.
As for Central Michigan, we've run out of things to say about the 5'9" guard. Marcus Keene leads the nation in scoring and had an outburst on Saturday, 50 points to help the Chippewas take down Miami.
We were able to be courtside for that one, and it was really special to watch, pulling up from anywhere on the floor. Of course, everyone wonders, can he repeat that performance tonight against the Falcons? And we're about to find out. Important for the Chippewas if Marcus Keene can have a big night.
Well, each team trying to stay in the race in the Mid-American Conference. Central Michigan, they're 8-1 at home. The Falcons just 1-7 on the road. We'll see if they can pull the upset. It's coming up for you on ESPN3. It's the 12-7 Central Michigan Chippewas against the 8-11 Bowling Green Falcons. Each team 2-4 in the MAC. And Matt, let's take a look at your keys for this one tonight.
Yeah, we're going to start with the Falcons. For them, they want to play better individual defense because it's important for them to defend Braylon Rayson and Marcus Keene, and they got to play a full 40 minutes if you're Bowling Green. Flip it over for Central Michigan. You got to have better paint defense. Some good bigs inside for Bowling Green. Then you got to get to the foul line. 4 shooters for Central Michigan shoot over 80% from the free throw line. Got to make sure they can get some attempts at the stripe.
We'll keep an eye on those throughout the game. In the meantime, let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for Bowling Green, they made one change on Saturday against Ball State. It was adding Dylan Fry, the freshman. He's a shooter into the lineup. They'll go with that same lineup today. That might have helped them pick up a big victory at home against the Cardinals.
Yeah, we talked about it in that first pregame segment. Important for both teams to get off to a hot start. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Bowling Green. How did they come out in that first 4-minute segment before the first media timeout? Can they get comfortable on this floor against the host CMU?
All right, for Central Michigan, it's the same starting lineup. Braylon Rayson and Marcus Keene leading the way. Keene with 50 points and the nation's leading scorer right under 30 points per game. We talked about this last time. Can they get a potential third score today? Because again, it was Rayson and Keene that had over 70 points, over their 100 on Saturday as well.
Yeah, Marcus Keene, the big story coming in, but what about that supporting cast? Of course, Keene gets all the headlines, doing all of the interviews. He scored 50 points on Saturday, the biggest performance in Division I, but can the rest of that group really step up today?
All right, let's take a look at the matchups as you take a look at Marcus Keene. The Chippewas ready to battle the Falcons, starting with Keno Davis and the Chippewas. Keno Davis in his 5th season. Actually, we'll take a look at Michael Huger first, who's in his 2nd season as Bowling Green's head coach. He's a former player for the Falcons, graduated from there in 1994, so he's continuing to try and get this program back on top. And we'll see how his team performs tonight. As for Central Michigan, Keno Davis is in his 5th season at CMU, 73-73. Of course, coached one season at Drake, then went to Providence, and now has landed himself in Mount Pleasant, a team that won the MAC West a season ago and won the MAC outright 2 years ago. Well, this is a big one tonight. Each team 2-4, trying to stay in contention in a wide-open Mid-American Conference. The Chippewas have been stingy at home, and the Falcons have been trying to improve away from Bowling Green. We'll see what goes on tonight as we are underway with the Chippewas in control. Keene will pull early off the front of the rim. He was knocking all of those down on Saturday. He scored 26 straight points from the 6-minute mark to under a minute left in the game to help the Chippewas propel to a 101-92 victory. They go right inside to Wiggins, who scores against Meyer.
DiMaggio Wiggins, a really big-time player for Bowling Green inside. We talked about it, averaging over 14 points per game in conference play. Needs to have a really big night going up against Luke Meyer and Duron Scott for CMU.
Double-doubles in his last two. A great offseason for Wiggins. He gained over 20 pounds, worked his way into this starting lineup. Rayson unable to hit, and here come the Falcons. They want to push the tempo tonight. There's Fry able to get it over to the corner. Denny, a hot shooter. Offensive rebound, though, for Wiggins. No one picks up Al-Shagir, and he's fouled.
It's too easy underneath. Just Al-Shagir, no one picks him up on the backside. Looks like Josh Kaczynski tries to come over late with some weak side defense. A little over the top foul. That's an easy and one.
Al-Shagir, the senior from Miami, Florida, a transfer from Daytona State. They'll try and complete the three-point play. So it stays at 4-0. Little full court pressure from Bowling Green. Of course, the coaching staff for the Falcons well aware of the two guards. They want to try and slow down Rayson and Keene, but there Rayson scores his first two.
And that was one of our keys coming into this matchup, Adam. Got to have really solid individual defense, denying passes out on the perimeter, but then once they get it in their hands, you got to make sure that you stick to your assignment and really lock down.
Wiggins again against Meyer. The length on the shot too strong. Tapped around, and the officials will say that it's Central Michigan ball. Donnie Epley, Izzy Santiago Jr., and Brett Wojcienki, the three on the crew tonight in Mount Pleasant. As Central Michigan and Bowling Green battle on ESPN3. Adam Jackson and Matt DeVries with you. Thanks for tuning in. Meyer will take the elbow jumper and roll it through.
If you're familiar with the CMU team, you know Luke Meyer has really put in a lot of work and a lot of time in the practice gym on that jump shot. Really can stretch a defense when he wants to. Maybe a little hesitation in his game on the perimeter, but it looks really smooth coming out of his hand.
Nice over the top, but Wiggins got caught underneath the basket, hits the bottom of the backboard. Here comes CMU on a quick 4-0 run. Rayson whips it out. Kaczynski's left alone. Got it.
That's that individual defense that Coach Uger really wants to emphasize with his team tonight. You're just losing a guy on the backside of that play for Central Michigan. You run a high ball screen with Luke Meyer, and Josh Kaczynski's just waiting for a pass on the perimeter.
Al-Shagir trying to end the 7-0 run. He can't, but a tap out to Fry. And he drains it. We're tied again. Five players on this Bowling Green team, as Kaczynski is unable to hit, that can shoot over 30% from behind the arc. Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's a big part of Central Michigan's game, but Bowling Green able to do the same on the perimeter. And who's going to blink first from the outside? Is it going to be Bowling Green, or is CMU going to go cold at some point?
Rayson gets down the lane, draws the contact, and he will head to the free throw line. Foul going to be charged against DiMaggio Wiggins, and that was something Keno Davis told us, that he wants this team to get to the line as much as possible. We asked him about, is it a concern how many threes that this team is shooting, over 40%, and he said as long as his team can find ways to get to the line and earn these easy trips, he's okay with that.
Yeah, when you have four players on your roster shooting over 80% from the free throw line, David DeLeo, one of those just checking into the ballgame for the Chippewas for the first time tonight. I mean, it behooves you to try and do that, because you got guys that can shoot it at a high clip. Of course, Braylon Rayson splitting the pair, but if you get there and knock them down, it's a really big plus for your offense.
Rayson with three early. Denny misses from the corner. Offensive rebound, though, from Wiggins. Denny, a great cut, and scores.
That's on Cecil Williams. You just lose your matchup. It's happened a couple times now. Happened to Josh Kaczynski a couple possessions ago, just falling asleep a little bit on the weak side.
Rayson a contested three, and here comes Bowling Green the other way. Denny all alone, lays it in with the finger roll. Back-to-back baskets by the senior, and it's Bowling Green's largest lead, 11-8.
It's great awareness by Zach Denny to just leak out in the fast break, give his teammate a chance to find him, and got the Falcons in front.
Keene has it roll around, it pops out, and Wiggins snatches the rebound. Ali will push the tempo. Denny wide open, has plenty of time. maybe a little bit too much as it hits the front of the rim. Scott falling to the floor causes a loose ball, but it's picked up by Rayson. Well, Bowling Green just a team that scores 72 points per game, which is worst in the MAC, but they want to get out and run tonight with the Chippewas as Rayson has 5 to start this game.
And that's one thing that we were both interested in seeing in this matchup tonight. It sounds like both teams want to get out in transition and try and push the tempo a little bit. You'd think that would favor CMU, especially with the guard tandem of Rayson and Keene.
Now Seguer takes a bump, unable to finish. And here come the Chippewas the other way, trying to reclaim the lead. Just about 5 minutes gone by. Nice cross, opens up to Leo. Scott, an offensive rebound, has it swiped out by Denny, and it'll stay with Central Michigan when we come back. Good tempo to the start of this game. Falcons and Chippewas going back and forth. It's the senior from Germantown, Ohio, with a couple easy lay-ins to give the Falcons the lead. Bowling Green leads Central Michigan by 1. Just about 5 minutes gone by in Mount Pleasant. In McGurk Arena, we take a look at the series history. 76th all-time meeting. And believe it or not, these teams met 3 times last year. The Chippewas won the 2 regular season games, but the Falcons able to steal the most important one in the quarterfinal of the MAC tournament in Cleveland.
Yeah, and both teams looking to get back to Cleveland again this season. And earlier on in the non-conference, it looked like CMU was maybe going to be one of the favorites coming into the conference season, but both teams have sputtered out of the gate in their first 6 games, both just 2-4 in the MAC. And kind of the same story for this CMU team as it was over the weekend. It didn't want to fall to 1-5 with the loss to Miami. They get a W, and now a chance to get 1 game away from going to 500 if for either team tonight if they can get a W.
Wes Al-Shaguer picks up the personal. That game last year in the MAC tournament, Chippewas led most of the way, and then a 3 by Antoine Lillard, who had a career high in that performance. 26 points was the difference maker, and Central Michigan was knocked out, and Bowling Green was the lowest seed to advance to the semis. So a game that certainly Chippewa and Falcon fans remember, as we have a stoppage from the officials. And it looks like the band's being told that they have to be quiet for the free throws.
Is that right?
I'm not sure. That's what it looked like was signal as DeLeo hits the second. It looked like the officials maybe telling the band to stop playing. I don't know. Maybe
they're instruments, but I mean, you're allowed to shout if you want, but interesting, huh?
In the meantime, the Chippewas back in front by 1. Lillard is checked in at the top. They swing it. Ali is left alone. Off the bottom of the rim near side, and here comes Marcus Keene. Keene had 39 in the second half on Saturday, on his way to 50. Has not scored yet. DeLeo took an extra step, and the Chippewas have their first turnover.
I think lost in all of that hoopla on Saturday was probably Marcus Keene scoring 39 points in 20 minutes. Had just 11 points at halftime and went off for nearly 40 in the second half. It was truly a sight to see, and I don't know if he's going to get to 50 tonight, but off to a little bit of a slow start for him.
The highest single game performance in NCAA Division I this season, right here in Mount Pleasant on Saturday against the Redhawks. An incredible performance as the 3 falls short from Caldwell. Quickly, Rayson takes the contact, and he scores against Fox.
Braylon Rayson's 5'9", but he's 190 pounds, so using his wide frame, his broad shoulders to create a little bit of space to drive into the bucket.
Well, Deron Scott picks up his first. Scott, a player that always seems to be in foul trouble, and Keno Davis says that's the reason he's only averaging 12 minutes per game, is because he can't keep himself in the game. He said they want to play him more, but the fouls are limiting that ability.
Yeah, you got to move your feet if a guard's trying to move around you, or you let him blow by you, but then use your length on the backside and try and block it over the top. I mean, you just got to be smart, because we've seen it in stretches of Deron Scott's career, can really have a big impact on a ball game.
Fry off on the 3. Loose ball comes down to Luke Meyer. Keene will push the tempo. He goes right at Fox and Fry. Scores, and he is going to the line. How about that from Marcus Keene as he shows you that right biceps? Take a look at this one more time.
What a way to get your first 2 points of a ball game. Using that glass, driving by the rim, just tosses it up. Just give it a chance to go in. It's a friendly bounce, and back to that free throw line where Keno Davis wants his team to spend a lot more time.
Fry picked up his first. Keene completes the three-point play, and Central Michigan has their largest lead of 6 points. A 9-0 run for the Chippewas. Just over 13 minutes left to play in this first half. We'll see how the Falcons respond. They haven't scored in over 3 minutes as that ball is collected by Worrell. He scores in front of Meyer. Rayson unable to answer with the three, and the Falcons will push the tempo with Lillard. Right at Keene, side steps. No, offensive rebound to Keene. Crossover for Keene, and he hits the jumper.
Makes it look so smooth. Marcus Keene doing a nice job of creating a little bit of space for himself.
You can see this is going to be an up-tempo game, exactly how the Chippewas want to play it, but Falcons are looking to play that way as well. CMU settling into a zone defense. Lillard attacks, nice bounce pass, Worrell, and one. Good finish from Rasheed Worrell, and he is headed to the free throw line.
Looked like there was maybe a little bit of confusion between Josh Kaczynski and Blake Hibbets on the underside of that zone, and Luke Myers left on an island underneath. No choice but to go up for the block attempt, a little bit on the arm. Bowling Green a chance to get a little closer.
Rasheed Worrell, a guy that started last year, most games for the Falcons, 28 of them. His production hasn't quite been what it was a season ago, so he's still trying to find his rhythm. We'll see if he can get going against CMU as he misses the free throw.
A little full court pressure from the Falcons, trying to get CMU out of their rhythm a little bit.
Chippewas break the press. Rayson streaking in and scores.
No need for a dribble from Braylon Rayson, just catches it right in stride. Great feed from Kaczynski.
Beautiful passing. Central Michigan didn't have to dribble it, as Matt said. And Rayson off to a hot start. He has 9 of the Chippewas' 21 points. This is Worrell squaring up, and he walks. First turnover on Bowling Green with 11:59 left to play in the first half. Up and down we go. Braylon Rayson has the Chippewas out to an early lead.
Our Table 74 Around the World Challenge.
On ESPN3, Adam Jackson and Matt DeVries with you tonight as Central Michigan and Bowling Green battle, each 2-4 in the conference. And so far, Matt, it's been Braylon Rayson, one of the 5'9" guards for the Chippewas, off to a terrific start with 9 points.
Yeah, the other guard from Texas, of course, the 2 guards hailing from the Lone Star State, really making up a dynamic backcourt combination for the Chippewas. And kind of lost in all this Marcus Keene attention, nation's leading scorer is Braylon Rayson, who's the senior guard on this team and averaging nearly 20 points per game.
He was the leading scorer last year, and he was a little bit lost last year as well with Chris Fowler, the senior captain, getting a ton of the attention. But Central Michigan needs him as Keene has bad luck there. That ball bounces right off his back. It'll go back to Bowling Green. But you have Keene this year leading scorer. You had Chris Fowler, a captain, Rayshawn Simmons as well, but they need Braylon Rayson to have the production he does, and he's been off to a terrific start again here in 2016-17 season.
What makes it really nice is, especially when you have 2 point guards essentially in the backcourt, you can't really double team Marcus Keene, because then it's going to leave Rayson wide open, especially off the ball in dribble drive penetration situations. And important to have some of that secondary scoring. Maybe you'd like one of your bigs or one of your wings to be averaging double figures, but really important for Keno Davis's success to have Braylon Rayson performing the way he does.
Back-to-back turnovers for Central Michigan out of the break. Rayson just missed there as he was trying to maneuver around Denny. Worrell will head to the bench, and Wiggins is checked back in. This is Roderick Caldwell, the freshman from Dayton, Ohio, that leads the attack for the Falcons. Caldwell, quick step, tries to hoist over Meyer and does.
Roderick Caldwell, just a freshman, really nice job of avoiding that high-flying, outstretched Luke Meyer arm to use the glass and finish.
Keene all the way to the rim. Rolls out, loose ball, and it'll go back to Bowling Green. And the Falcons getting back into this one after Central Michigan had built a 6-point lead. They've got some momentum as Racing comes out. Cecil Williams and Maddie Smith in for Central Michigan.
Well, it's going to be the theme all night, Adam. It's just a big game in the bottom half of the Mid-American Conference. What team's going to go to 2-5 and what team's going to go to 3-4? It's a big difference in a record and the way you're feeling, especially heading into those big weekend matchups.
Williams trying to bang middle of the paint, kicks it out to DeLeo. This is Keene, will hoist and hit.
Pure from the outside. The net barely moves for Marcus Keene. Wow.
8 points for Keene. You can see how quickly he heats up. Chippewas have started just 2 of 9 from the outside. And there's a miss from Lillard, and here we come the other way. Up top for Meyer. Open look for the corner. In and out from DeLeo, but an offensive rebound. Keene way outside. Good fight, and the loose balls right now going Bowling Green's way as they get it back.
To give people some perspective, if you're watching at home, if you didn't watch that second half on Saturday, every single one of those went in. And you, my friend, you were running out of things to say whenever he was pulling up from 25, 30, 35 feet.
Nothing left. All from right around that C at midcourt with a hand in his face. They tried a couple different defenders. Nothing worked against Keene. Miss from Denny. And Central Michigan comes back the other way. They tied a program record with 23 pointers as DeLeo slices his way to the hole.
Nice drive in his first year on campus in Mount Pleasant, and he's been a nice surprise for Keno Davis, averaging double figures.
And a foul called against Bowling Green. It'll go back to Central Michigan as the Chippewas have their largest lead of 9 points. Just over 9 minutes to play in this first half.
For the Falcons, especially on the road, Chippewas playing in front of their own fans. You don't want to fall too far behind, because this place can really get rocking if Keene and Racing get rolling, as you see Marcus check out of the ball game.
Falcons have had some bad luck this year. 6 times they've lost by single digits and just 1-7 on the road. So still trying to figure out how to come in and get road victories, which isn't easy to do. Meyer left alone. That rattles out. He's upped his average from the outside to 30%. Much more confident taking those shots. This is Fry attacking on the other end. And Williams grabs the loose ball.
I still like that drive, really aggressive, not afraid to go in, challenge Cecil Williams, challenge Luke Meyer driving to the bucket. I like that play.
This is the freshman, Maddie Smith. Open look for Racing. And he's into double figures with 12. Maddie Smith will pick up the personal on Ali. You take a look at this Racing 3 one more time.
Good job by Smith. Penetration, drawing in that double team to the paint, and Racing's just camped out on the perimeter, and you don't see him spot up too much from the corner, neither for Racing or Keene, mostly because they're just pulling up off of the dribble out of a set at the top of the key, but still able to knock it down in the corner. A three-point shot can be a major factor in any game, in the college or pro game, and if you're knocking them down, it's going to make life really tough for your opponent.
Maddie Smith picks up his second foul in just a couple of minutes. Just a matter of seconds, really. We saw that same thing on Saturday, so he immediately has to go out. Keene comes back in. Denny steps inside the arc. Around and out, offensive rebound, Ali, and he is headed to the stripe. So Central Michigan has built their largest lead, but Ali, the point guard, getting inside and challenging Williams at the rim.
Timeout. Timeout.
For Central Michigan, it's been as large as 12, and we expect the high numbers from Central Michigan. The Falcons, as we mentioned earlier, averaging just 72 points per game. Last in the conference. You flip it over to CMU, like we told you, they lead the MAC in scoring, 89.3 points per game, and it's not just that, Matt. They're tops in the country as they sit 5th in the nation at that stat, 2nd in the country with over 12 threes a game. They're 3rd with 244 threes, and they're shooting from the free throw line 77%. So offensive efficiency for CMU has been outstanding as Ali misses the N1.
So the Chippewas are 12-7, 2-4, and you hear those numbers. So what does that mean? Got to lock it down on defense, and you got to just really just clamp down a little bit better because your offense is one of the best in the nation. No reason you shouldn't be competing in the top half of the Mid-American Conference.
DeLeo kicks it out to Rayson. He'll drive baseline. Keene, an extra pass to DeLeo. Quick ball movement from CMU. Now Keene from the corner. Got it.
Outstanding passing, fundamentals from Central Michigan. Unselfish play, finding the open man, passing up open looks on their own, and then Marcus Keene able to knock it down from the outside.
3 is answered, though, at the top from Al Saguer as he has 5. Racing the floater, and it goes.
Still great defense from the senior Denny, not biting on that spin move from Braylon Rayson. Gets a hand up in his face, and just a great finish from the guard from Texas.
14 points for Braylon Rayson. I think that possession previous shows that Marcus Keene isn't a selfish player, neither is Braylon Rayson. They love to pass the ball as the 3 is missed from Denny. And that can get, they can get away from that point when you see how much they score, but really are team players when it comes down to it. Rayson hoists from the top, contested, and it was deflected by Ali, so it'll stay with Central Michigan. Now, I didn't see if that hit the rim, and I think they might have to check that because the shot clock has reset to 30, and it didn't look like that hit the rim, so they're going to go over to the monitor, and now they've got it set. So shot clock will stay at 17, 6:20 to play in this first half, a 12-point lead for CMU.
When those shots go in, you look like a genius, but that just wasn't a good look from Braylon Rayson, especially early in the shot clock. Still 17 left as we get back going. I think you just got to be a little bit more patient, work the ball around a little bit more.
Rayson fights through some contacts, and the ball gets stuck up on the rim. It'll go back to Bowling Green on the possession. You talked to Keno Davis. That's what he said, Matt, is that the shot selection has been fantastic from his team. Doesn't matter who it is, but he said if Rayson and Keene are firing up with guys in their faces, he's like, you know, those have been pretty high percentage shots for those players. Again, they're not going to make every one of those, though.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, okay, that's fine if you're taking those shots, but I mean, depends on your definition of good shot and high percentage shot. It just so happens you have really talented guards, and I don't want to say that maybe the CMU's lucky. I think the talent is really showing through with Rayson and Keene, but I'd like more open looks maybe than contested jumpers, but hey, if they're falling, who am I to say?
Keene with the hand in his face, another one of those tough shots, and a foul on Durant Scott. That's his second. Certainly shots you can get at any time. Keene unable to hit the last one. Rayson, prior to that, wasn't able to get it to go. And now 2 fouls on Durant Scott as he has to check out.
And now we're into the bonus here as the first half's winding down. You look at the numbers from Saturday, of course, plenty of threes for Central Michigan, knocking down shots. A lot of those contested jumpers, like we've said, were going down. But then fast forward to today, Chippewas shooting 48% from the floor, but just 4 of 16 from 3. So you made 4, but you've missed 12. That's easy math to do. You got to make sure that you're not hindering your offensive flow if you're putting up contested jumpers that don't really have much of a chance to go in, because it was good defense from Miami, but I think Bowling Green's really doing a nice job of closing out quickly out on the perimeter.
DiMaggio Wiggins at the line already with 8 rebounds. 3 points to go around with that total as the 6'10" sophomore from Toledo hits both. He has 4. And it's back to a 10-point margin. They'll need more scoring from him. They've got 3 scorers that are averaging in double figures in Denny, Wiggins, and Alsager. Kaczynski from the corner. Out the other end, this is Lillard. Chippewas get back defensively. Great pass, and Wiggins, the reverse lay-in, stays down.
Whoa, what a feed through traffic. Great hands underneath as well. Great possession.
Ali leading the MAC in assist to turnover ratio. You can see why there. Came in with 5 assists per game. And we'll get a whistle on Ali as he thought that was clean. Him and Lillard were heading the other way. It's called on Ali, and that's his first. Under 5 minutes left, what has been a very quick first half. Central Michigan has had the lead most of the way. It's been as large as a 13-point margin. Keene, little bit of a push off, and he gets called. So Ali thought he had a clean pick, picks up the foul, and then right back Keene gets the foul, and you can see the look from Marcus Keene. He didn't think that was the correct call.
Well, whenever you're talking about big-time scorers, no matter where they're playing, if they like to penetrate into the paint, watch that off arm. You know, sometimes they extend it a little bit more and get a little bit more leniency from the officiating crew. If you're more of a high-volume scorer, that's just the nature of the way the game of basketball operates. And I don't know if it was an extended arm from Keene, but maybe just a little too much force.
Lillard gets called for traveling. And only the second turnover on Bowling Green with 4:43 left to play in this first half. They're a team that is averaging right around 14. But a nice job taking care of the ball. That's something that Central Michigan has done a great job with this season. They have 4. Rayson leads the Chippewas with 14, and Williams takes an extra step. So back-to-back turnovers for the Falcons and the Chippewas as David DeLeo will check back in. He'll replace Cecil Williams.
Just got to put the ball on the deck, man. Trying to get going and get into the painted area before you're dribbling. Can't do that.
Wiggins trying to find space against Meyer. A tough catch. Then Meyer comes back and blocks it. Rayson up top. Now Meyer on the offensive end. And Rayson will slow it down and set it up with under 4 to play in the first half. Keene hoists. Off the back and front iron of the rim, and here comes Ali quickly pushing the tempo with the left hand. See if the Falcons can cut into this lead a little bit. Alsager off the spin. Pretty move.
I like his game. He's got 7 points in this first half, and he hasn't been tentative at all with his game, but neither has Marcus Keene. He's been doing that all season.
13 points for Keene is an easy lay-in for the 5'9" junior transfer. Leading scorer in the nation, keeping up with his torrid pace. Central Michigan settles back into that zone. Ali trying to get in the middle of it. Kick out, Fry is open. Almost got a kind roll into the basket. Instead, it comes down to Meyer.
You can kind of see what Bowling Green's mindset is, not even going up for that defensive rebound. And we'll get a timeout here from Keno Davis, the use it or lose it.
Central Michigan in front by 8. The passing and the efficiency from this offense. Extra ball movement leads to an open 3 from the best scorer in the country.
I see those little Caesars boxes.
An 8-point lead for Central Michigan with 2:39 to play in the first half. The Chippewas have been playing well, but the reason that the Falcons are hanging around, DiMaggio Wiggins nearing a double-double. He had 2 in the last 2 games for Bowling Green. Matt, he already has 6 points and 9 rebounds. Incredible. And there you see his numbers this season.
Yeah, he's really rounded into form since MAC play started, and 14 points, 8.5 rebounds, well on his way to getting yet another double-double tonight. And you see that 17 and 11, 14 and 14 in back-to-back Mid-American Conference games. He's a beast down low.
Almost seems guaranteed he's going to pick up his 6th double-double of the season. He's been their best scorer in the MAC, over 14 points per game and over 8 rebounds per game in the Mid-American Conference. 7 on the clock, Meyer left alone. And the rebound by Fry. DeLeo takes a swipe at it. Fry will push the tempo. Caldwell runs the point for the Falcons as Ali on the bench. Ten on the shot clock with 2 to play. They go back to the freshman, and an offensive foul called against Worrell. That's the first on him. 2 minutes to play as you take a look at 5th-year head coach Keno Davis, and we'll see if he hangs around for the entire game this time. He was ejected on Saturday against Miami. How about this, Matt? He was ejected about the 12-minute mark. He didn't listen, or he could have watched us if he wanted to.
Of course.
He continued to update his phone, refresh, and just follow along on the game tracker. Yeah,
I think we were talking during the break. You said he could hear the PA announcer calling the threes for Marcus Keene down in the locker room. Oh, my. Marcus Keene again. Just unbelievable with not only his shooting ability, but able to really absorb contact. Look at how he throws that off the glass. Wow.
Another remarkable shot from Marcus Keene, this time coming inside the three-point line. And Keene now at the line to try and complete the three-point play as he now leads Central Michigan with 15 points. 16 for Keene. .90 seconds to play in this first half. Now Shigeru, a 3 over Meyer, an air ball collected by Braylon Rayson. Falcons do a nice job getting back. This is Keene. Meyer will launch from 3 and knock it through.
I was wondering if maybe Luke Meyer was getting some tired legs. He's played some big minutes here in this first half with Duron Scott, his center mate, down on the bench with 2 fouls, but able to knock that one down and to a 14-point lead.
Largest of this first half. The bounce to Worrell, bangs and blocked from behind by Meyer. Luke Meyer with his second block. 11 seconds left on the shot clock as we take a look at this one more time.
Weak side help defense. Just over the top. Didn't even know he was there.
He led the Chippewas in blocks last year, has 20 this season. Duron Scott leading Central Michigan and the MAC with 25. 6 on the clock. Lillard off glass. Beautiful finish.
Way to shake Josh Kaczynski, and this play by Lillard. You mentioned the big game in the MAC tournament last year. It needed more from him in this first half. The Falcons have.
Meyer gives it to Kaczynski on this near side. Final 30 seconds. Final 11-second difference from shot to game clock. Kaczynski will pull off the fingertips of Meyer, and it'll go back to Bowling Green with 18 seconds left. A 3 here potentially could get it under 10 points. They're hanging around. We'll see if they can get a basket as Kevin McKay will check in. He'll replace Marcus Keene to make sure Keene doesn't pick up his second, as he heads to the bench with 1.
It wasn't a good possession from the Chippewas. Potentially their last one of the first half. Keno Davis will have that as a talking point, no doubt, going into the half.
So Ali has it in his hands, under 10 seconds to play first half. He'll drive right hand, and the loose ball picked up by Williams, 2 seconds. He'll step just inside half court and has it bounce back right off the backboard, and that's how the first half comes to a close. 12-point lead for Central Michigan after 20 minutes of play. A 12-point lead for Central Michigan after the first half of play, and we'll take a peek at some of the stats here in a moment, but it was Keene and Rayson, shocker for Central Michigan, that led the way. The two guards playing very well. 16 for Keene, 14 more for Rayson. They're the difference in that first half.
And combining for 30, they average 50 between the two of them during the regular season, and of course Marcus Keene leading the country in scoring, and the tandem doing what's expected of them in that first half.
Well, obviously, more important than basketball, it is Coaches versus Cancer Week. So the coaches participating in that, the awareness of cancer and wearing the sneakers. They wear those to make it a visible reminder about the importance of nutrition and physical activity and reducing the cancer risk. And certainly a huge part, and someone that is growing up was a hero of mine, Jimmy V. We all remember him at NC State, and of course, many others, in not only in sports but in all walks of life, that have lost their lives to cancer. So certainly something that is impactful, and it's been a great tradition that the coaches and players have participated in.
Yeah, you'll take a look around the country if you're watching college basketball at home. Maybe you're flipping over to some different games throughout the evening. You'll see most, if not all, of the coaching staffs participating, and a couple women's basketball players in attendance tonight. Presley Hudson, she's a talented guard in her own right.
You think Presley Hudson is just taking a peek at Marcus Keene? She had her record broke. She set it with 43 points in McGurk Arena a couple weeks ago. Keene on Saturday took it down with his 50-point performance. So she doesn't have an opportunity to come back home for a couple weeks though, Matt. So Chippewa women are out on the road. They'll be at Toledo before they come back home in a couple of weeks. But two of the best guards in the country on the women and the men's side.
Well, and don't forget about Raina Frost right there as well. One of the best rebounders in America. And when you take a look at that Marcus Keene performance over the weekend, just one of the best I've ever been able to witness in person. I know I speak for you as well. It was unbelievable to just see the way he performed, especially in that second half, like you mentioned. 39 points and scored 26 in a row on his own. And tough whenever you're that nation's leading scorer like Marcus Keene. A lot of attention comes with that as well. Doing interviews with national media, and of course making an appearance on SportsCenter on Saturday night as well. So I think he's really taken it in stride, and you couldn't meet a nicer guy, especially in person. Just really personable, and loves to be around his teammates, and loves to shoot the ball from wherever on the floor. He's a joy to watch.
He was named Mid-American Conference West Player of the Week for the 4th time this week after the 50-point performance and then the 29-point performance at Ball State last Tuesday. As Matt said, made an appearance on SportsCenter on Saturday night. He has been all over the place. Jay Billis talking about him. All kinds of national love for Marcus Keene, and he's been helping Central Michigan win of late. They're trying to do that again today. But as for Bowling Green, Matt, with about 45 seconds till we get tipped off, as you take a look at the offensive efficiency that Keene has helped, what does Bowling Green need to do better in this second half to get back into it?
Pretty simple. I think they go inside. You work inside out, go in the painted area, get Wiggins some touches down low. Al Shigir, get him involved, get him some touches as well, moving towards the basket. And I think if you start having some success down low, then that's going to open things up out on the perimeter. You mentioned it in that first half. Plenty of shooters out on the outside for the Falcons, and if you can get some looks out from three-point range, maybe you can cut into this deficit a little bit quicker than you like, because they're sitting down 12 right now.
Well, Central Michigan and Bowling Green getting set to start the second half of play. The Chippewas will bring the same 5 out on the floor that they started the game with. They had a lead as large as 14 points, and they did a lot of that damage in the paint. A team that has averaged right around 12 threes a game, had 5 in the first half, 5 for 21, shot just 24% from 3, but they were able to bang down low in the paint, scored 20 inside. So we'll see if that stays the same in this second half, if Luke Meyer has another big impact, or if they step outside. Keene will kick it out to Kaczynski. He'll try the first 3 and knock it through.
That's his specialty. Over 90% of his attempts from the floor in his career in a Chippewa uniform have come from three-point range, and no one likes the 3-ball more than Josh Kaczynski.
Largest lead for the Chippewas comes on the first 3 of the second half. A miss from Fry. And now, again, in stride, it's Kaczynski. Williams challenging for the rebound with Denny. Denny wins the battle as it'll go back to the Falcons.
6'2" senior Zach Denny does a nice job of having good position. Cecil Williams being really aggressive, hitting the offensive glass, and nice attempt to grab that rebound, but it all starts with Denny's good position, boxing out, being in the right place, and getting a possession back for Bowling Green.
Cecil Williams picks up his second personal. We'll see if Denny can get going. He's their leading scorer, the senior from Germantown, Ohio. Leads them in minutes, over 12 points per game, steals, and he's good at the free throw line as well. Had just 4 points in that first half. They'll need him to get a spark for the Falcons here in the final 20 minutes as he has it now. This is Al Shiger against Williams, high off the glass with the reverse.
That's what I want to see from Bowling Green. Inside to the rim, close looks. It's gonna be provide some success for you, and a little too fancy. Number 3 carried it.
6th turnover for Central Michigan. Their average just over 10 this season. Keene doesn't do a lot wrong. The Falcons and the Chippewas have done a nice job taking care of the ball. CMU settles back into a zone defense. We'll see how the Falcons attack it. They have good three-point shooting. Just 2 makes, though, from deep in that first half. Denny rises and knocks it down. Just a 2, but maybe that'll get him going.
Yeah, he needs to get a few touches, maybe get a couple looks at the bucket here before this first media timeout. You mentioned it, Denny's a big piece, and that's an unlucky foul for him. Wrong place, wrong time, trying to go over the top of that screen, and just tough luck for him.
Second personal on Denny. And the first on Bowling Green in this second half. Each team with 1 as we're just underway. About 2 minutes into the final 20 minutes of play. See Michael Huger down on the other end, about halfway onto the court.
What's he doing?
Sneakers showing and everything. The former Falcon wants to get back on the floor.
Wants to get some tick.
Williams unable to finish. And here come the Falcons the other way. Denny a catch and shoot. Offensive rebound try on Fry. He went over the back on Josh Kaczynski. An easy call for the officials. And that's the second on Fry.
Pembroke Pines, Florida, that's where he hails from, and it just doesn't have good position. And we saw that with Duran Scott a little bit for CMU in that first half. If you don't have good position, no reason to flail your arm over top and get an easy over the back call. The official's going to call it every single time.
Grayson bounces it back to Kaczynski. And he'll just pull from the outside. Williams fighting with Ali for the loose ball. They've got a foul, and we'll see who it goes against. And it looks like it's going to be against Ali, as he was unpleased with the call.
And it's just a 50-50 play right there. Cecil Williams and Ali both going for it. I don't see a foul there. Maybe the official has a better angle from where he is, but I would have gone possession, Earl, if that was me.
Yeah, it looked clean from both sides. Just a good hustle to the ball on the loose ball. Instead, Ali picks it up. Keene rises and hits. 19 for Marcus Keene in his first 3 of the second half.
Good transition defense by CMU. Ali trying to push the tempo a little bit. Chippewas get back.
Central Michigan 28% from 3, shooting just 7 of 25, but they haven't needed it, in front by 14. Ali a tough drive, and he draws the contact and will head to the line.
Scooting his way into the paint. Not afraid of some contact, Ali, and see right there, a little crease between Williams and Meyer, and Meyer doesn't move side to side. Pretty stationary on the defensive end, just tries to block, and Ali's savvy enough that he's able to avoid that and get to the free throw line.
The 4th best passer in the MAC, coming in at 5 assists per game. Misses the first. He had 13 points on Saturday, 5 boards, 2 steals, and 2 assists, filling up the stat sheet against the Cardinals, as DeLeo will check in for the first time in the second half, replacing Williams. Ali with just 2 points today on 1 of 4 from the field.
The officials again talking to the band, and front row of the student section feels otherwise.
Giving Coach Huger a laugh from the sideline. Ali splits the pair, and the lead is 13.
Full court trap pressure. Trying to get CMU out of their rhythm. We saw it a little bit from the Falcons in that first half.
Keen on Ali, as you can see him get low, and he's got the shakes. Nearly lost it. Ali doing a nice job defending him. 10 on the shot clock. It's been all Keen this possession. He'll hoist, partially blocked, and Ali gets called for the foul, and he cannot believe it.
Can head coach Michael Huger just taking a nice little stroll down to the end of the bench. It was a fun matchup in this possession, one-on-one. You see Ali knows exactly what Marcus Keen wants to do. Shot clock winding down, goes for the block attempt. Maybe some good awareness from Keen to avoid that block attempt and get him on the arm, but now a chance for three.
Marcus Keen goes to the free throw line the most in the MAC. Coming into this one, he had been there, or he's made it most in the MAC. He had 125 makes from the line coming in. Shoots it from the free throw line at 81% as he's knocked down the first two.
After those first two, CMU 7 of 8 from the stripe. Bowling Green just 3 of 7. Won't make up the deficit, but it'll certainly make a difference if you knock down some of those free ones when you get there.
2 of 3 from the stripe for Marcus Keen. Lead is 15, just about 4 minutes in, as Central Michigan, with the way that Bowling Green has been shooting from the outside, they're okay with staying in that zone defense. Falcons at 15% from behind the arc, just 2 of 13. Fry challenges Meyer, has it partially blocked, no call on the contact. And here comes CMU. Racing on the crossover, takes the bump, has it swatted though by Wiggins.
Oh yeah, big swat.
Alsager will take it, and he scores as he goes right around DeLeo.
Here we go, back the other way.
And it's Racing who lays it in.
I didn't know we were calling a track meet. Great Euro step from Alsager. Really nice job in transition, but Braylon Racing leaking back out. Probably doesn't get much further back than half court, and he's already looking for Keen to get that outlet to him.
Again, the zone defense as they kick out to Denny. Largest lead for CMU at 15. A 3 from the left wing is short from Caldwell. Bowling Green just not much going on offense. Keen will attack all the way down the lane. It rolls out, he wanted a call. And the Falcons again will push. And Keen with a body there, hard contact against Caldwell. Stops the up and down pace from the Falcons. And that'll send us to immediate timeout.
And Marcus Keen, just an outstanding performance against Miami on Saturday. Career high 50, the highest point total in the country so far this season. And he was just outstanding. Just 15 of 23 from the floor, 10 of 15 from three, folks. 10 of 10 from the free throw line. Perfect from the stripe, a McGurk Arena record. It was really impressive to watch Adam, and maybe not going to get to 50 again this year, but certainly making tons of headlines and just 0.2 points away from averaging 30 a game. We're getting close to February.
Unbelievable. 12 of his 19 games, he scored 30 plus, and 3 times he's gone 40 plus. As obviously he did that on Saturday, with 50. He has 21 today as the basket from the Falcons out of the break.
I don't know if you know this off the top of your head. Maybe you have it in your notes, but I can't remember the last time someone averaged 30 points per game in college basketball. It would certainly be an astounding feat if Marcus Keen would be able to do that. You know, that was the talk all November and December. Sure, this guy's putting up huge numbers, but can it be a sustainable model throughout the entire season? And Marcus Keen proving he may just do it this year.
I want to say, as we get a whistle first, Ron Scott's going to pick up his third. I believe it was early 2000s was the last time it happened, and he was the first to score 50 points in an NCAA Division I basketball game for the first time since 2013 when he eclipsed 50 on Saturday. So very impressive stuff what Marcus Keen has been able to do, and you only can wonder what's next from the 5'9" junior transfer. And again, we expect him to be back next year. He's got one more year of eligibility, so if he stays healthy, things could continue to go in the direction of up for Keen and the Chippewas. Tough take and a finish from Caldwell. The freshman really like his game from Dayton. Roderick Caldwell with his second basket.
Just to wrap up that quick thought, Adam, back 1996-97, Charles Jones at Long Island averages 30.1 points per game, the last to average 30 per game over an entire season.
Oh, so longer than what I thought. As DeLeo misses too strong, and a chance again. The Falcons, can they get it under 10, make a little run here as they push the tempo? Open three, Fox steps in, and they just continue to miss from the outside. 2 of 16. Chippewas the other way. Racing avoids the defender and swoops in.
Gliding through the air. Braylon Racing, of course, an outstanding rebounder on this team, can really jump out of the gym even at just 5'9", and put it on display a little bit there.
High arcer from Caldwell falls. He has the last 4 for the Falcons. 6 points, it's back to 11. And now he'll try and run again. Nearly has it stolen. Denny driving in. No one picks him up, and he lays it through.
There you go. Bowling Green coming back, never gave up, and still plenty of time in this ball game. They had a 12-point deficit at the break, but they've got it to single digits.
This is exactly what they did last year in the MAC tournament. Central Michigan led the entire way until the end when a 3 went down from Antoine Lillard, and that was the difference as the Falcons knocked the Chippewas out of the tourney. Keene unable to hit, and this is the chance for the Falcons. It's under 10. Can they start to get some of these threes to go down? Here's one from Denny. Another miss. 2 of 17, Matt, from the outside.
Yeah, that's no good, and CMU says, that's okay, we'll give you guys another shot at this end of the floor. They give it back to Bowling Green with a travel in the backcourt.
An 8-2 run right now by Bowling Green. The travel going against Marcus Keene as he tried to put it on the floor. One of his teammates standing right in front of him. So the Falcons another chance. Denny's 0 of 6 from the outside, now 0 of 7. As that'll go helplessly out of bounds. Unreal, the three-point shooting just is not falling at all for Bowling Green.
And to be completely honest, I don't know if it's solely due to the defense of Central Michigan. They've gotten some open looks, but they just have not been able to go down. And yeah, Denny, their leading scorer, just 4 of 13 from the floor, 0 of 7 from beyond the arc.
BGSU 2 of 18 from 3 for 11%. As Racing knifes through the D.
CMU, to be honest, really hasn't been much better. They're 7 of 28. That's good for 25%, but CMU doing a much better job from the floor, shooting 42%.
Yeah, that was after the Chippewas shot 61% on Saturday as a hand check is called. It'll go out of bounds, staying with the Falcons. Going against Braylon Racing. That's his first foul. Bowling Green comes in shooting 35% from 3. They're averaging right around 6 per game. See if they can heat up. This is Lillard. He misses again. And a foul called over the back once again on Dylan Fry.
That's a couple tough breaks for him. It looked like he had a good position there. Of course, he goes over the back a little bit, but looked like he was maybe going to be able to grab that rebound. They go over the back with a foul, and Falcons threaten with some full court pressure, but then back up into a little bit of man-to-man.
The foul is on the Antoine Lillard. That's his first. The Falcons' 16th second half. And we have a media.
56-45. Adam Jackson, Matt DeVries here on ESPN3. The Chippewas have led most of the way as we take a look at the upcoming events inside McGurk Arena. A couple of wrestling events this Friday and Sunday. Have a little bit of break from basketball, but then we'll come back. The women's team will be back in action against Ohio. Western Michigan will come in. So a lot going on this winter in Mount Pleasant, and a good one so far. The Falcons have been quiet from the field, especially the outside, as DeLeo muscles his way to an and one opportunity.
his career path here in Mount Pleasant is going to be an interesting one to watch. Of course, just his first year on campus out of Iowa City, and seems to really be making a big-time impact. And you wonder, is he going to be a featured player in this program in a couple years' time? You look right there, 10-5 already, and he's playing big minutes, almost 26 minutes a game for Keno Davis, and he's just a freshman.
And he completes the three-point play. Right out of Iowa City, he's the third leading scorer. Went to prep school before he got here to Mount Pleasant, as we have nearly a collision over here. I think everything's all set, as we had a close call with Cecil Williams. As we get a foul underneath. Everything all right? You okay?
I think so. We got to check on our guy right here, one of our camera guys. Hopefully all of his equipment's all right. Everything's kosher over here.
Bowling Green radio might have gone off.
Good.
Matt Courtney's giving a smile. He's all right. Thank God he's all right. Doing a terrific job for us. Lillard, in the meantime, after all that, is at the free throw line. One more coming for Antoine Lillard, the sophomore from Cleveland. And he knocks both free throws down. Again, still waiting for that run from the Falcons. They're going to try and create some turnovers with the full court press. We'll see if that can work out for them. Zaleo tracks down the long pass, and the Chippewas break it. Grayson then has it fumble off his hands, goes out of bounds.
Excuse me, Adam. I mean, you may have just heard of the PA over that last possession. They're already in the bonus, Bowling Green is, with 17 fouls, or going to be 17 fouls for Central Michigan at the next foul. And so shooting free throws the rest of the way for both teams, actually. So free throws going to play a big role in this one.
Well, Fox trying to get things going for Bowling Green on the outside. They're now 3 of 20 from deep. We'll see if that ignites them as the lead is back under 10. Meyer has it crawl off. Falcons with another chance. Nearing the midway point of this second half. Caldwell steps out from 3. And another miss.
That would have been a big shot. That would have cut it to 6 points. Back-to-back threes. No go. Got to lock down on defense.
Racing with the 3 on the other end. Meyer cleans it up.
Nobody's taking a body. Going to box out, get that defensive board. Luke Meyer says, thank you, I'll take that.
Each team not shooting well from the outside. 10 combined threes, 7 for Central Michigan, 3 for Bowling Green, but the inside play helping out each team to try and get their points tonight. Al Shiger inside the arc. Offensive rebound and a second chance opportunity for the Falcons. 10 minutes to play, second half. Largest lead was 15 for CMU. It sits at 11. Falcons haven't been able to get it under the 8 to 9 point range in this second half as the Chippewas led by 12 at the break. 10 at the clock. Caldwell, tough drive over the top of Luke Meyer. He is playing well. Roderick Caldwell with 8.
I was watching Michael Huger, the head coach for the Falcons, on the sideline during that possession. Was not pleased with his team's execution, but bailed out there by a nice drive to the bucket.
DeLeo a catch and shoot. Gets his own miss. Challenges and scores as he went right at Rasheed Worrell.
He's starting to feel it a little bit, isn't he? Trying to be a little bit more assertive on the offensive end. He could have easily kicked it out to one of those 2 guards from Texas on the perimeter for CMU, but picks up a foul there.
That's his first. Now 9 points, 5 in this second half. He's had 11 games, David DeLeo has, where he's been in double figures. And he's third on this team with 45 makes from 3 as he'll head to the bench.
Really nice stretch from him. Like we documented while he was at the free throw line, big minutes for this program this year, and you'd wonder, was depth going to be an issue for this CMU program? He's been able to slot right into that 8-9 man rotation for Keno Davis, and really nice supplemental piece to that 2-headed guard set for CMU.
And the officials going to go to the monitor, and we continue to praise him. He went to the same high school as Keno Davis, Iowa City West Trojans, played for the same coach that Keno Davis did, and also his dad played for Tom Davis. So a lot of ties there between Central Michigan, and also David DeLeo. As you take a look at the two guards that have led the Chippewas this year, the Mighty Mites, Marcus Keene and Braylon Rayson, leading in scoring. Surprising, they're leading in defensive rebounding as well. And yes, just 5'9", and coincidentally, both from Texas.
A lot of similarities between both of those guys, and been a really nice backcourt to watch for CMU fans throughout the year. Marcus Keene, it's not very often you get the best scorer in America on your team, and then you, oh, by the way, you've got a senior averaging 20 points per game as well.
Al Shaguer hits both. He has 13. And the lead is back under 10. Bowling Green has not been able to get much closer than this. We'll see if they can get some stops and go on a little run with 9 minutes to play. Still very much in this game. Keene still sits at 21 points. He has just 4, check that, 5 in this second half, as he misses again from the outside. So a chance for the Falcons. Can they cut a little bit closer? Caldwell has had a little extra pep in his step with 8. They go inside. This is Wiggins. Has not scored in the second half. Attacks on Scott. Duran goes straight up, but then has it ripped away. Then he blocks Lillard, and it'll stay with Bowling Green with 11 seconds on the shot clock.
Duran Scott being praised by our official down there underneath the basket. Donnie Epley saying, good job keeping your hands straight up. No foul there. Good defensive stretch there for Duran Scott.
And important he doesn't get one. He has 3. And now we've got a foul called on Josh Kaczynski.
Bowling Green hanging around right now. Single-digit deficit. Have had chances to cut it to 6 during this half, but you got to knock down the free ones. I mean, you're 7-11 from the line right now. It's only 63%.
And their average this season, 67%. Lillard shoots just 66 from the line. And he misses. So there's a missed opportunity again. Not been great from the field, 35%, 14% from 3, and 63% from the line. So the shots have not been falling for Bowling Green. That's why they're behind. Skip pass, Hibbets in the corner. And again, we talk about Bowling Green having shooting issues. Central Michigan, the same on the other end, as they're allowing the Falcons to stay in this. Al Shaguer knocks down just the 4th triple for Bowling Green, and they're within 6.
It's a big shot there from Al Shaguer, the junior out of Miami. Falcons, 6-point deficit. They're coming back, baby.
16 points for Al Shaguer. Rayson out of control, and here comes Caldwell the other way. Smartly pulls it out as it was 1-on-3, but a 6-point game, 7 to play. It was once 15, and all of a sudden, the Falcons could potentially cut it to a 1-possession game with a 3. Lillard squares up on Kaczynski, takes a bump, and took an extra step.
Good stretch from the Falcons, though. Smallest this deficit has been in quite a while, and Al Shaguer, a big reason why. Big-time shot from the outside.
In Mount Pleasant with 7:19 to play. Central Michigan led by as many as 19. They've led for this entire second half, but Bowling Green has inched closer, and they have been in this situation many times this season. They've had close losses, 6 of them there, as you can see. And Matt, we've touched on their road record, just 1-7. Central Michigan, in the meantime, they've been very good at home, as most teams are. 37-6 in the last 2 years in this building. Can Michael Huger's team find a way to get over the hump here and pick up a huge road victory?
Well, DiMaggio Wiggins has had back-to-back double-doubles in the Mid-American Conference, but he's not leading the way in points, but he's got 15 rebounds right now, so doing some of the dirty work down low.
Central Michigan breaks the press. Falcons haven't had much success with the Chippewas turning it over with that press. Slowed Central Michigan down a little bit in the half court, as Bowling Green has made this a half-court game. Spin move from Keene as he tries to go at it. Comes off, and Wiggins comes down with the rebound. Yet again, another 16 for Wiggins. He's yet to score in this second half. 6 points. Couple of baskets right there for him if he wants the double-double.
Yeah, absolutely. And this lead is there for the taking for Bowling Green. CMU has gone cold at the other end, and the Falcons have been chipping away through the first 14 minutes of this half.
Central Michigan remains in the zone, 5 on the clock. Miss from Alceguer, loose ball, and it comes to Kaczynski. Good opportunity for Alceguer, who's been their best player with 16. Kaczynski, a catch and shoot from the top. And another miss that comes down to Bowling Green. So we stay at this margin. Each team really struggling from the field. Wiggins, a tough catch. Fox, too strong. Wiggins with the board, and a foul called on Central Michigan. Looks like it's going to go against DeLeo. That's the third on DeLeo.
I think Wiggins initially thought that foul was going to go on him. He kind of spikes the ball in frustration, but now he finds himself at the free throw line, and Davis not happy with his team's performance the last couple of minutes.
Central Michigan has certainly not been shooting well from the outside. 21%, 38% from the field. Is coming after they put up 101 points on Saturday. Wiggins misses, offensive rebound, and Lillard scores. 4-point game with 6 to play.
Got to box out. You're on the free throw line, and the opponent shooting there. Great awareness by Lillard.
DeLeo with a huge 3 to stop the run. He has 12 points.
That was a much needed shot for Central Michigan, and it comes at a perfect time, especially when Bowling Green is starting to take all the momentum in this ball game.
Just over 5 to play. Falcons have struggled playing from behind when we get down to closing situations under Michael Huger. We'll see if they can pull a comeback here. The 3 is good from Caldwell. The freshman from Dayton with 11 points. And it's a 4-point game.
And bang, bang, big shots for both teams, trading threes. Who's going to blink now?
And a foul called as Marcus Keene was attacking. And Keene will go to the free throw line. That'll go against Caldwell, his second. And the 8th on Bowling Green. Central Michigan with 9 fouls, so getting into double bonus territory is Keene. He's been quieter in the second part of this second half. Hits the free throw now with 6 points. We say quieter certainly for his standards.
Right, he's got 22 points, but just 7 of 18 from the floor for the ball game, and 3 of 10 from the outside. And Cecil Williams going to check back in for Josh Kaczynski now.
23 points for Keene. He leads the Chippewas. They have 3 scorers in double figures. Rayson with 20, DeLeo with 12. In the meantime, 2 in double figures for the Falcons, with Alceguer with 16, Caldwell at 11. Under 5 to play in Mount Pleasant. Fox off the pass. Rebound, Wiggins fought for with Keene. It'll stay with BGSU. Fresh 30 on the clock.
But that's what happens when you're big. Luke Meyer edges out and tries to challenge a shot beyond the free throw line. Your most threatening rebounder leaves the painted area, and Bowling Green in turn gets another possession.
The Falcons ended a 3-game skid on Saturday with a win against Ball State. Chippewas, coming off of a loss at Ball State, came back home and beat Miami, as there's a miss. Cecil Williams cleans it up and gets it to Keene. Marcus attacks down the lane, and he walks. 9th turnover on Central Michigan. And again, the struggles continue offensively for CMU as you take one more look. An extra step. Good job by Caldwell to stay in front. And for the most part, I think if you're Bowling Green, you're going to take this defensive work that they have been able to do against the 2 guards from the Chippewas, holding them to 43 points. It doesn't sound great, but for what they've been averaging, I think they'll take it as they're right in this game. Wiggins across the paint and 1 as Meyer picks up the personal. And DiMaggio Wiggins with his first 2 points of the second half, and they have pulled the Falcons to within 4.
He is just eating the CMU interior alive on the glass. 17 rebounds, and now a chance to make it a 3-point play and a 3-point ball game.
Wiggins so much improved from a season ago. He was the first recruit by Michael Huger when he came in 2 years ago that committed to Coach Huger. He does miss the free throw. But he should be fun to watch the next couple of years.
7 of 14 from the free throw line, though. There's the difference in the ball game right there. Chippewas are 10 of 12.
Rayson attacks and draws the whistle. And Braylon Rayson will head to the line. That's going to go against Matt Fox as he picks up his first. And each team in the double bonus the rest of the way. 4 minutes to play. Another close one between the Falcons and the Chippewas. Coach Huger trying to pull off his second victory against CMU. Chippewas won 2 out of 3 last year. This is the only meeting this season. Central Michigan goes back to man-to-man. Lillard on Williams, takes it right to the rack and draws more contacts, and free throws will be coming for Lillard when we come back. Don't go anywhere. 3:51 to go. A 6-point game inside McGurk Arena. We'll have the finish coming back. The 6-point lead for Central Michigan as we bring you back under 4 minutes to play. The Chippewas hoping that they can pick up their 3rd win in the conference, and same for Bowling Green as we take a peek at the standings in the East and the West. And each team trying to get back to the top as the Eagles and the Zips are in front in their respective divisions.
We've been able to see that Akron team. They visited McGurk Arena here a couple weeks ago, and boy, were they impressive. And 6-0 to start conference play, 16-3 overall. Zips looking like the favorite in the MAC this season, and potentially going to be the 1 seed heading to Cleveland. Long way to go, though. Sorry, long way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith Dambrot and his team has been predicted to win the MAC the last few seasons, and they are well on their way, as Matt said. Still a lot left to be played, but so far they're in charge. As again, we talk about the free throw struggles. Lillard misses the first, really keeping from Bowling Green making any sort of run here. Does get the second to go. Been an ugly basketball game in terms of shots. Each team has done a solid job taking care of the ball. 9 turnovers for CMU, 4 for Bowling Green, but each team shooting right around 38%. Keene wiggles his way down the lane, finds an open Rayson. Around and off, Williams an offensive rebound between 2 defenders. And the Chippewas will reset.
Not to highlight the wretched, but CMU's 8 of 35 from 3. That is unbelievable.
Rayson misses again. You go the other way, 5 of 24 for Bowling Green. Some cold shooting tonight on a warmer day in Mount Pleasant.
Beautiful outside today.
Alsager tries. That's off. DeLeo tracks down the miss. 3 minutes to play, a 5-point game. Let's see what Central Michigan goes to offensively. Can the nation's leading scorer potentially take over? Stops, pops, too strong. Another opportunity for Bowling Green as we go the other way. Here's an open look. The freshman, he misses. And now it's racing the other way. Someone hit a shot.
Please. Maybe a little backdoor action to Luke Meyer or Cecil Williams. Get the crowd going a little bit.
Myers had 7 points, helped out the Chippewa cause today. Keene attacking on Lillard, draws the contact. And Keene will go to the free throw line, and this is where your Central Michigan you'd like to be at. They shoot the ball so well from here, 77%. So impressive how Keene finds a way to get to the line every game.
Yeah,
and there's 7 times tonight, now 8 and 9 coming up.
He's had a tough shooting night as well, 3 of 11 from 3. He was outstanding from beyond the arc on Saturday, like many of you know that are tuning in, but maybe the most understated part of his offensive game is his free throw shooting. Does a great job when he gets to the free throw line, and putting that on display again tonight.
81%. Be rather impressive if he gets to 50 now with 2.5 to play. Don't see that happening as he splits the pair.
Need a couple extra periods if he's going to do that.
We may get them. Saw an overtime here a couple of years ago with the Falcons and the Chippewas. Chris Fowler went off for 42 in that one. Wiggins off another miss, and he's so strong. He is headed to the free throw line. A rebounding machine, Matt. 19 boards for Wiggins. Unbelievable stuff. 8 points to help contribute. And look at him go to work against Luke Meyer, who picks up his 4th foul.
You can see he just wants it more than the Chippewas inside and ripping that ball away. And like you highlighted, you can see at the bottom of your screen, both teams double bonus.
Can he make his free throws? Falcons 8 of 17 from 15 feet away. Luke Meyer will come out with those 4 fouls. Kaczynski checks back in. Your coach Huger, though, and this Bowling Green staff have to be extremely excited about the upside of Wiggins. Just the jump he's made from freshman to sophomore year. A couple more seasons. He could be one of the best in the conference. Splits the pair. 9 points for Wiggins, 19 rebounds, and a timeout taken. 30 seconds with 2:04 left. Finish in Mount Pleasant is coming up next. Close one, just a 5-point game between the Chippewas and the Falcons. Joining us on ESPN3, Adam Jackson, Matt DeVries with you, and a 5-point game in Mount Pleasant. Shooting has not been good tonight from either team, and it's kept it low scoring on both sides.
Yeah, Bowling Green has done a good job of just hanging around, gritty performance, trying to claw back into this ball game, and really in a manageable spot right now. You just got to knock down a couple shots and make some of your free throws when you get there. You're already in the double bonus, and maybe one or two more threes and you can really cut into this lead.
Well, the difference has been the free throw shooting. Each team shooting about 35% from the floor, 18 and 22% from 3. Central Michigan 81% from the line. Bowling Green just 50%. So that's the 5-point difference you see with under 2 minutes to play. Keene with 24 to lead Central Michigan. Racing with 22. Chippewas running some clock as the shot clock nears 10. Off the screen, Keene attacks Al-Shaguer. Out to Racing with 7. He whips it. Keene is wide open. Misses what would have been a huge shot. Could have potentially been the dagger will go the other way.
Biggest possession of the ball game for the Falcons right now.
A 2 or a 3 can make this a 1-possession game. Ollie thought about the 3 instead, turns it over to Cecil Williams, and Racing will bring it up ahead. And now maybe you think about following Bowling Green. Looks like they're going to play it out, though. Another defensive possession. As we'll go under a minute in McGurk Arena.
If it was me, I would have fouled right there, but Coach Michael Huger goes otherwise. Need to stop now, though. Need to stop.
Racing splits the double team, gets in the paint, lays it in. Tough shot from Braylon Racing. And a timeout quickly called by Keno Davis. It's a 7-point game as Racing slow to get up.
And hopefully he's going to be all right. Keno Davis wants to try and bottle up and capture that momentum as best he can. But nice drive to the bucket. Bowling Green needed to stop there, chose not to foul. The shot clock gets down to 5, so that's a 25-second possession for the Chippewas, and now we're under a minute, and it's a 7-point game. You need to go quick. You need to move really quick if you're Bowling Green. Can't take too much time off this clock. Don't need a 3 yet. There's still enough time that you can start going quick 2s, play that trap full court pressure like you've been doing down the stretch. They need a steal or 2, kind of like what Cecil Williams did right there. That was why that was such a big possession. That's a 4-point swing because Ali dishes it down, Cecil Williams intercepts it, and then Racing drives to the bucket, gets that basket there. That's a 4-point swing. We could easily be 71-68 right now. Instead, it's 73-66.
Keene and Racing with 48 combined, right around their season average of 49 together. Not sure who Bowling Green goes to. They haven't really had a standout player. Al-Shaguer has been the guy with 16. He'll try. No. Williams up high for the rebound. Bowling Green.
That might be it.
Have to foul here. Yeah. This one coming down. Getting close to over here as Caldwell commits his second. Braylon Racing headed to the line.
Yeah, big possessions. When the Chippewas needed solid defense, they got it on back-to-back trips. At that end of the floor, Braylon Racing chance to ice it.
Central Michigan 35 seconds away from winning their second straight. They started 0-3 in conference play and can crawl back to a game within 500 if they close this out as Racing splits the pair. Caldwell drives in, lays it in, and a timeout called by Huger.
Wants to try and extend this game as long as he can, Coach Huger does, and good play there to get a quick bucket. I mean, you got to go quick, and there's no denying that, but you need stops, and Racing's been able to get 3 out of a possible 4 points the last 2 trips down the floor for Central Michigan.
Caldwell in the meantime with 13 points. That ties a career high. And a timeout here, 24 seconds to play. You can expect full court press, have to try and get a steal. And if not, it has to be a quick foul. But the problem, Central Michigan is so good at the free throw line, and continuing tonight, they've been extremely good. 14 of 18, right around their average, 77%. So you really, again, on short time here, down 6, need to find a way to get a steal, but we'll see what happens.
That's why I think maybe you foul with 1:11 left on the clock. As soon as you got the ball across half court, I think you foul there and try and extend the game. Instead, you let 20 to 25 seconds go off the clock.
Kaczynski trying to get it in. There you go. That would work as well. Force a 5-second call, and a timeout is called with 24 seconds still remaining on the clock. One more for Central Michigan, and Keno Davis will draw one up out of the timeout. We'll reset you. Central Michigan got out. They led by 12 at the break. Had the lead increased to 15 points, but Bowling Green kept hanging around. Never took the lead in this second half. Closed to within 4 points, but that's been it. The Chippewas, as ugly as this game has been from the field, shooting-wise, each team, Chippewas have shot 38%, Falcons 36%. The three-point shooting, very uncharacteristic. Central Michigan, a team that this year, 17 of their 19 games, they've been in double figures with three-pointers. They have just 8. Falcons 5 of 28. Really a game you didn't expect to see from both sides, but here we are, and somehow the Chippewas find themselves in front. And Keene will get quickly bumped by Caldwell, his third. And Marcus Keene, with just over 23 seconds left, will head to the free throw line. Keene tonight has been tamed for the most part after going off for 16 in that first half. 7 points here in the second. He sits at 23.
I don't know if anybody was expecting Marcus Keene to replicate the type of performance he had over the weekend, scoring 50 points, but still a really nice 26 points from Marcus Keene, and by his standards, some might say that's a bit of a letdown.
Caldwell knocks down the triple. He has a new career high with 16, and it's a 5-point game. Another timeout as Michael Huger takes it. And again, they're hanging around, Bowling Green is, as they've been in these close games. So you take one more look. Chippewas just giving him that one. As you can see, Keene allowing the three-pointer. But your Central Michigan, you knock down your free throws, take care of the ball. You expect to get out of here. But Bowling Green, other plans, hanging around and not letting this one get down to the zeros.
They don't want to get on the bus just yet, but Bowling Green out of timeout, so their final timeout is a full. So Michael Huger in that mass of people right there trying to draw something up, diagram a play that will lead to a steal and maybe some points for Bowling Green. Probably going to go some full court trap pressure, and then if you don't get a steal right off the inbounds, no doubt you're going to foul and try and extend this game as long as possible. As for CMU, got to run your out of bounds set precisely. Make sure you're locked in and don't turn it over, because then you're playing right into the Falcons' hands, and then who knows what happens.
Well, and if you can't get a steal, find a way not to foul Braylon Rayson or Marcus Keene. Send someone else to the line. You've got Kaczynski, who doesn't shoot well hasn't shot a ton from the free throw line, but Chippewas smart. They have him taken out. DeLeo shooting 83% as well, but he hasn't been to the line a ton tonight. Cecil Williams hasn't been there at all. They get it to Rayson. Too easy of a catch there.
You almost have to double team both players, deny them, and and just try and make sure they don't get a chance to touch the basketball. But even when you take a look up and down the line, you have David DeLeo, who's an 83% shooter, and Cecil Williams can shoot it pretty well himself at 82%. So you got plenty of shooters, but yeah, you try and keep it out of the guards' hands at least.
The guys that haven't been there, maybe the best chance to miss. But a team that shoots as well as they do from the free throw line with Central Michigan. No problem with Keno Davis putting all those players in. A 6-point game. This is an important one to get it to 3 possessions. And Rayson hits them both.
Rayson and Keene combined 15 of 19 from the free throw line tonight.
Impressive for Central Michigan. 17 of 21 from the line. Caldwell unable to hit. Wiggins offensive rebound. There's his double-double as he has 11 points, 22 rebounds. But it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. 6 double-doubles for the sophomore, 3 straight games. He's exploded in Mid-American Conference play. But again, with 8 seconds left, it looks like Bowling Green's going to fall short.
Good effort, good fight from the Falcons. Did not give up. We're down by as much as 15 in this second half. I believe by my count, Adam cut it to 6, as close to 6, or was it a little bit lower at 4? You're telling me 4. So we're right there within striking distance the last couple of minutes, and just weren't able to get that final dagger. And CMU, I don't know if you'd call it a lucky win or able to, but I mean, there's a lot of fight from this Bowling Green team tonight.
Final 5 seconds for the Falcons. Caldwell rises and hits as he has, again, continuing to add to his career high with 19. Chippewas still have to get it in bounds. And a timeout by Kaczynski as he uses the last one. 3 seconds to go. It's a 2-possession game, but this one still, the fight from Bowling Green has been very impressive. Just not going away.
Battle until the bitter end, Bowling Green is, and a 4-point game with 3.3 seconds to go, and Keno Davis taking a little bit longer than he would want. You'd think Central's on their way to a victory, and we're pretty much calling it for them at this point, but you never ever know.
Right.
And when you've only got this little amount of time, you got to get a 3, get a foul while you're shooting a 3, because you don't have time for 2 or 3 possessions in this amount of time. So important for Central to just focus on getting the ball in. Hopefully Rayson or Keene can get a touch on it, and then you're able to knock down your free throws and get out of here with a W.
Bowling Green going to try and get a steal, obviously. The play tonight of Roderick Caldwell, the freshman, he has great upside as well. We continue to say that because there's some young players here. Obviously, Coach Huger just in his 2nd year. He's brought in some new recruits. Imagio Wiggins certainly stands out. Double-double tonight, 11 points, 22 rebounds. Caldwell with a career-high 19 points. He's picked up the scoring at the point guard position. Really has pushed the tempo on the Chippewas. 3 seconds, got to get it in, a 4-point lead. They go to DeLeo, so out of the hands of one of the guards. But again, a 4-point game with 3 seconds left. Really needed, well now 2.4 seconds left. Needed the steal there. DeLeo will head to the line where he's 3 of 3 tonight. It's a big win for Central Michigan. It was going to be a big win for either team to crawl back closer. Your 3rd win in the conference and still not out of it with 11 games left to play. DeLeo hits the first. A good night from the freshman as he gets back into double figures. Sits at 13, his 12th time getting into double figures. And he knocks down the second. 14 for DeLeo. 6-point lead for the Chippewas. The half-court heave. Close, but that's how this one will end. Central Michigan continues their dominance at home, and they've won 2 straight inside McGurk Arena, and on the season, the final 82-76. Chippewas pick up their 3rd conference win and 13th win of the year.
Yeah, now 9-1 at home, and of course Bowling Green, the road struggles continue for them as they fall in this one. And like we talked about at the top of the broadcast, important for one of these schools to get a big W and improve to 3-4, put themselves right back in the middle of that MAC race. And Bowling Green going to fall to 2-5, and you got to try and pick up the pieces. And it doesn't get any easier in the Mid-American Conference. Plenty of talented programs on their schedule, and now you got your 3 games under 500 if you're Bowling Green. tough night for you, but Keene and Racing dominant once again.
Yeah. Keene walking off the floor, 28 points, 27 for Braylon Racing. A little bit above their average, and as we talked about before the game, we mentioned Keene. You always have to mention those two guards, and they were just a little bit better. Shooting wasn't great tonight, but the free throw line is where Central Michigan excelled and found a way to pull away a little bit more than what Bowling Green was able to catch.
CMU 8 of 37 from 3. Bowling Green 7 of 31 from 3. Bowling Green shoots the ball almost 80 times tonight, but they end up shooting just 38% from the floor. Both schools going 38% from the field. So a bit of a herky-jerky, tough night for both teams. Not a lot of turnovers, just not a lot of great shooting from either side, but Chippewas pick up a hard-fought, gritty win tonight.
Central Michigan improves to 13-7, 3-4 in the conference, while Bowling Green drops to 8-12, 2-5 in the MAC. And Central Michigan wins 82-76. That's going to wrap up our broadcast. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight on ESPN3. For our entire crew, my partner Matt DeVries, I'm Adam Jackson saying good night from Mount Pleasant.